was all the only works fault.
What?
Hello, hi, yes, please. Welcome to my channel. Sorry, my English isn't very good. But I will explain later about first this.
Hello again, my friends. It is I, TheUltraTeam, back at it again with another video. It is I, TheUltraTeam. Yes, can you believe it? I know I can't. Well, I have come to talk about stuff. So on to that. But first, a word from our sponsor, Pest Control.
Have you ever just wanted someone gone and you don't know how to get rid of them? Then Pest Control has you covered. Top-notch kidnapping services. Just tell us their name, height, weight, social security number, mother's maiden name, credit card number. They'll be gone within a week. You will never have to worry about them again. We might even kidnap you too. Well, in which you would see them again, because you'll both be in the pest control trash compactor. But you know it's a trade-off. Pest control. Top kidnapping services.
That was bizarre. To help explain I have brought on an expert in TheUltraTeam.
Yes, I am in fact an expert. Now, we are dealing with the universe gap. To help illustrate this, here is another key.
I often have to tell people, you know nothing, okay? You know nothing at all. And they usually take offense to this, and it's just not good. And now clients are not supposed to take offense when you're a psychotherapist. However, I, Lenin, am a psychotherapist, yet I am also a philosopher. I do want to be remembered in history as not just the Lonely Orc, the psychotherapist, not just the Lonely Orc, the friend of the Spot Force. I want to be remembered as Lonely Orc, the philosopher. The philosopher. Okay. How do I be remembered as them? I do, in history, want to be remembered, such as Aristotle, Socrates, Confucius, René Descartes, Karl Marx, yeah, all of it on any one of these people. I do. Yet, I will, in this video, teach you how to think in two different ways. I will teach you how to think using a philosopher's mind and using a psychotherapist.
You might notice that he referenced people that exist in this world, historical philosophers. Now, this may lead you to thinking that this clip is from this universe. However, this is not the case. I'll explain why very shortly.
I guess I should explain how I got the clips. But I want to finish the video first.
I know this is not usual for you to be this education. I thank you for the comfortable speech. Now, on to teaching you all how to think like a philosopher. Now, how to think like a psychotherapist is very easy. When you are a psychotherapist, you just have to listen to people and be nice, and that's just about it. Yeah. But philosophy is much more complicated. Philosophy, you have to do the art of thinking. I think one key thing to keep in mind is sociological perspective. It's built on that there are always socio-economic theory. There are always reasons for why people think the way they do. And in my philosophy, this might contradict someone else's philosophy. They say I do not agree. But the key thing to remember here is that the reason why they do not agree, some form of some type of sociological perspective. The orcs and the humans, orcs of course, we have human with the bug, and the eating bug are very social creatures. Not just do we go on our own, that is bad. We stick together as friends, just as I stick together with my friends at this Spot Force. Yes. This was just a brief introduction to the sociology and philosophy mostly. These two interact very much. Next video I will explain why that is the case in more detail. Thank you all for watching.
Here is a poem I think is relevant.
The mountains where I bowed him, it's true. Those glimpses he did give to me there. The winter mountains, Smith and Morehouse Reservoir to be exact. Walk around I did. Turn around and see him, yes. There he was, hiding behind the tree. Yes. I did not know at the time, but the glimpse he did give.
I made that up.
Yes, the keeps your characters. It's true. I don't like what you may think. This is all a scam. I assure you, it is not. Here's the thing. The substance in the fume was not what we have ever seen. Looking at a molecular level, the element is now known as. Furthermore, the film is not compatible with any known electronics. Lastly, I know not of the DNA on the film built is not to this world. For these reasons, I believe that it is not of our universe. I am the UltraTeam, Professor of Astrophysics, Genealogy, Astrology, Microbiology, Cosmetology, and Sociology for Harvard University, and I implore you to look more into this.
It's a conspiracy. The government is trying to hide it from us. Spread the word.
Most holy and wise province has so disposed of the condition of mankind, and some must be rich, some poor, some high and eminent in power and dignity, others mean and in subjection. Thus, to hold conformity with the rest of his world, he delighted to show forth the glory of his wisdom in the variety and difference of the creatures, and the glory of his power in ordering all these differences for the preservation and good of the whole, and the glory of his greatness that is as the glory of princes who have many officers. So this great king will have many stewards, counting himself more honored in dispensing his gift to man by man than if he did by his own immediate hands. He might have more occasion to manifest the work of his spirit. First upon the wicked and moderating and restraining them, so that the rich and mighty should not eat up the poor, nor the poor and despised rise up against and shake off their yoke. Secondly, in regenerated it sits by God's grace upon them, as in the great ones, their love, mercy, gentleness, temperance, etc. And in the poor and inferior sort, their faith, their patience, their obedience, etc. Thirdly, that every man might have need of others, and from hence they might all knit to be more nearly together in the bonds of brotherly affection. From hence it appears plainly that no man is made more honorable than another, or more wealthy, etc., out of any particular and singular respect for himself, but for the glory of his Creator and the common good of the creature, man. Voltaire calls wealth is gold and it's silver, and 99 he claims their service is due. Honor the Lord with thy riches, etc. All man being thus by divine providence ranked into two sorts, rich and poor, under the first are comprehended in such being able to live comfortably by their own means, duly approved. And the others are poor according to the former distribution. The same as before, but with more enlargement towards others, and less respect to our own, right? Hence, it was that in the primitive church they sold all things in common. Neither did any man say that which he possessed was his own. Likewise, in the return of their captivity, because the world was great for restoring the church, and the danger of enemies was common to all. Nehemiah directs the Jews to liberality and readiness in remitting their debts, and brethren disposing liberality to such as wanted and stand not open on their dues, which they might have demanded of them. Such did not our forefathers in times of persecution in England, and so did many of the faithful other churches, whereof we kept an honorable remembrance of them. And it has to be observed that both in scriptures and latter stories of the churches, that such an example have been more bountiful to the poor saints, especially in those extraordinary time and occasions. God hath left them highly condemned to posterity. Thus stands the cause between God and us. We are entitled to covenant for him this work. We have taken out a commission. The Lord hath given us leave to draw our own articles. We have professed to enterprise these and accounts upon them and those ends. We hereupon besought him, our Father, Sir, now if the Lord shall please to hear us and bring us in peace to the place we desire, then hath he ratified this covenant and sealed our commission, and will expect a strict performance of the articles contained in it. But if we shall neglect the observation of these articles, which are that mere ends we have propounded, and assembling with our God shall fall to embrace this present world, and prosecute our carnal intentions, seeking great things for ourselves and our posterity, the Lord will surely break out in wrath against us and be revenged of such people who make the price of a breach such a covenant. Now the only way to avoid this shipwreck and to provide our posterity is to follow the counsel of Micah, to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with our God. For this end we must be knit together in this work as one man. We must entertain each other in brotherly affection. We must be willing to abridge ourselves in superfluities of the supply of others' necessities. We must uphold the familiar commandments together in the meekness, gentleness, patience, and liberality. We must delight in each other's, make others' conditions our own, rejoice together, mourn together, labor and suffer together, always having before our own eyes our commission and our community in the work that the members and cause their prayers to be turned into curses upon us. We will be continuing out of good land whither we are going. And to shut this discourse with the extortion of Moses, that faithful servant of the Lord, in his last farewell to Israel, 8:30. Beloved, there is now set before us life and death, good and evil, but we are commanded this day to love Lord thy God, to love one another, to walk in his ways and keep the commandments and his ordinance and in his laws, and in the articles of our covenant with him, that we may live and be declared, that the Lord God may bless us with land wherever we go to possess it. But if our hearts shall turn away so that we will not obey, shall be seduced and worship our gods, our pleasure, our prophets, and serve them. It is propounded unto us this day, we shall certainly perish out of the good land wherever we pass this vast sea to possess it. Therefore let us choose life, that we so our seed may live, by obeying his voice and believing to him, for he is our life and our prosperity.
See, even in the 1600s, they now have the online work. I think I will end this video with a Vladimir Lenin quote.
Whenever you create, you must acknowledge what you are doing. You will at some point see as cringe. The key to avoiding this is to know what you are doing is cringe in the first place.